Hey, welcome to Half the Battle, and as promised, today we're heading back into the cartoon. So let's take a look at today's episode, Spell of the Siren. We start off in the Adriatic Sea with another commercial for the damn shark toy, as the Joes are trying to find out what Cobra is up to among the sunken ancient ships there. As it turns out, Destro is looking for a powerful artifact. And the Baroness promptly finds this because, hey, it's just a 22-minute show. And we soon find out this powerful artifact is in fact a seashell.
No, Baroness, for the conch of the Sirens. Its music lured 1,000 sailors to doom on the reef above.
I'd go for a very long seashells by the seashore joke here, but I'm afraid that if I try that, this review won't be out for another 6 months. Also, about the seashell, yeah, sirens in mythology use singing to lure sailors. Now, they were sometimes portrayed to have instruments, but those were usually harps. By the way, I find this weird. It's normally Cobra Commander who comes up with a harebrained scheme to take over the world, like ghosts or animals. This time, however, it's Destro, and he's supposed to be the straight man, but he's the one that delves into mythology all of a sudden. Anyway, the Joes find the oh-so-inconspicuous Cobra underwater base and attack. Seriously, with the amount of undersea bases we see, Cobra should have had a toy of one of them. Sadly, that was never the case. Destro gives the conch to the Baroness and tells her to get back to Cobra, while he'll defend the base.
Someone has to show those fools how to fight.
She manages to get away, but not before losing the wrapping to Lady J. Despite, firing 1 or 2 shots in the Joe's general direction, Destro gets captured. Yeah, way to show those guys how to fight there, dude. I expected better from you. The Baroness makes it back to Cobra headquarters. Well, their headquarters for the day anyway, and holy crap! It's not a castle! It's not even a temple! It appears to be a modern skyscraper in a beautiful valley. Cobra Commander, like most of the audience I'm sure, is less than impressed with the seashell.
This shell? A seashell? You're as mad as Destro.
And I still can't get over this. Cobra Commander is the sane one here. The guy who once graffitied the moon is the one talking sense. Did Destro and the Commander get their scripts mixed up? The Commander soon makes a fatal error though. He pisses off the Baroness by refusing to rescue Destro. And as we've so exhaustively discussed, this is a bad idea. As I've also mentioned, she unfortunately doesn't try to go it alone, and seeks out Major Blood instead. He reacts as you should expect.
With this. A seashell? On a little box, have you?
Meanwhile, thanks to the wrapping they got, the Joes get their exposition dump of the day from Dr. Blackstone. A character we've never seen before, and never will again.
The legendary conch of the Siren. For centuries, Covergirl, the music of the Sirens lured sailors onto the Black Reef in the Adriatic Sea. According to the writing on this oilskin, it served as a wrapping for a conch shell used by the ancient Siren. Exactly. Its sound waves have a hypnotic effect on the male hormonal system. A man who hears the siren song loses all willpower.
And Cobra has that weapon?
And they all just accept this as if it's a real thing. Nobody even tries to point out that it is all just based on myth. Then again, with all the weird crap they've had to deal with so far, this probably doesn't even warrant a, wait a minute. Anyway, the Joes are alerted to the location of Major Bloods and launch an attack. As per usual, things go rather badly for Cobra, but then the Baroness decides to actually use the conch. And it works. Well, because we wouldn't have an episode if it didn't. And all of a sudden, female Cobra troopers poof into existence. Yeah, it should be noted that girls don't exist in the rank and file of Cobra, nor in G.I. Joe. It's only when they're needed that they appear, like in this episode. So they're basically Schrödinger's girls. So the Baroness stops the Joe assault and makes her way back to Cobra Commander, who is only too pleased to now accept the conch as a useful weapon. But we all know what the Baroness is like, so...
Your decision to leave Destro in the hands of the Joes was the act of a petulant madman! Madman! You are unfit to rule! The members of my family have been bred as rulers for centuries. The conch is mine, and I will use it to crush G.I. Joe.
Oh, we'll see about that. Crimson Guard, Commander. Treason! This is treason!
No, my former commander. Not treason. It is destiny.
And so the Baroness takes full control of Cobra, for the first and only time in the franchise. She uses this new power to launch an all-women assault on the Joes, who are trying to figure out how to stop this new weapon while some of the men, including Duke, are still out of it. Does this count as a Duke is in a coma moment? I'm gonna say yes. The conch has now been weaponized and quickly takes out all the male Joes. In fact, it can do more than that, as the Baroness is able to direct the Joes that are under the Siren influence. The Baroness gets to the prison block and sets Destro free, informing him that she's in command of Cobra now. Meanwhile, Scarlet and Lady J use knockout gas to take down their friends without injuring them. Spotting this, Destro and the Baroness retreat, with the Joes that haven't been knocked out yet in tow. They arrive at a beautiful house in the valley. Man, terrorism seems to be paying well. By the way, this house is gonna be their command center for the episode. Yeah, that skyscraper we saw, never gonna be a factor. Inside the villa, they have Cobra Commander and one of the Crimson Twins locked up, since they're too dangerous even while under the influence of the Siren spell. Unfortunately, the other twin is still on the loose. The remaining Joes manage to track down Cobra somehow. It's never really explained. Maybe they're just lucky. However, when Lady J tries to infiltrate the base, she is quickly captured, only to be immediately rescued by Zaymat. And I have to say, the visual of him crouching over her, that's creepy as hell. Lady J seems to agree with me and tries to fight him, but in the end, they're forced to team up whether they like it or not. They manage to escape and make it back to Joe headquarters, where Zaymat agrees to get the Joes access to the Cobra facility. There's still the problem of the Joes that are under the influence of the Siren spell, but this can be solved with technobabble.
Perhaps this will help. A sonic pulsar designed to produce a musical counter-vibration. It could break the spell of the conch.
A little bit later, Destro seems to be pushing his luck.
But Baroness, the seashell is the leader, not you. If you put me under the Siren spell, you'll have no one with whom to share your triumph. Only a madman like Cobra Commander would wish to rule alone.
You see, this is what pisses me off about the Baroness. At this point, she's in complete control of Cobra, but for some reason, she still seems to need Destro beside her. I would have preferred if she had Galadriel'd it up a little.
In place of a Dark Lord, you would have a queen! Not dark, but beautiful and terrible as the dawn! Treacherous as the sea! Stronger than the foundations of the earth! All shall love me and dare!
Instead, we get this.
When the two of us can rule together.
Destro, do you hear bells?
Another great day for feminism. Before it gets to where I'm forced to vomit, the Joes thankfully attack, led by Zaymat. Because apparently the Joes still need a man in charge or something, I don't know. Anyway, Sure enough, the Deus Ex bullhorn works, freeing all those enthralled by the Seashell of Doom. By the way, this is probably the worst example of people not being able to get shot in the cartoon. I mean, look at it. They're standing right next to the bad guys, and they're shooting right past them. Anyway, the Crimson Twins managed to make their escape with Cobra Commander in tow.
The Baroness will pay for her treachery someday.
No, she won't, because the Commander will have forgotten all about this come next episode. Meanwhile,
We've lost! Flee and fight again another day!
what? Just pick it up! It's right there! It doesn't even take any extra time! And it can still be a really useful weapon! And so the episode ends, with the Joes destroying the conch. Like they do with every other single piece of advanced weaponry they ever come across. At least put it in storage or something!
I want to study the conch, learn why it works.
We have top men working on it right now.
Who?
Top men.
Overall, I'd say this was a very enjoyable episode, and it was great to see the women in charge, especially the Baroness. This was the only time, as far as I can tell, when the Baroness was in complete charge of Cobra, and it was great to see. The only thing that struck a sour note was, well, she still seemed to need Destro around. Speaking of Destro, yeah, it was really weird to see the dynamic between him and Cobra Commander be completely reversed for this episode. Destro was the one with the crazy idea, while the Commander was the rational one. Well, as rational as he gets anyway. When it comes to the seashell itself, yeah, the symbolism wasn't lost on me here. For obvious reasons, this particular type of seashell has been a symbol for fertility in the past, due to one side of it resembling a pregnant belly, while the other side resembles something else. I want to believe that the cartoon used this imagery on purpose. Well, that completely wraps up our Baroness month. An entire month devoted to that leather-clad, sexy femme fatale. If you'll excuse me, I'll be taking a cold shower for the rest of the week now. See you next time, everybody!